We are live?
We are live!
We are live. Right, nice. So, to all who are watching, welcome. This is another quarantine cooking session, but with a difference. So, as you can see, we have a different orientation going on, and we have Afiya from InSeason Tours here with us. Today is World Food Travel Day. Set off the fireworks and things. And in our efforts to celebrate World Food Travel Day in this COVID season, we decided to do a cooking session, quarantine, but invite Afiya to speak about food tourism. Now you might be asking, why Afiya? Afiya is very well traveled.
Yes. That is true.
And her job entails tourism as well.
Yeah.
Day job as well as her company InSeason Tours deals with food tourism. So we're not going to jump in yet because we need people to jump in the chat. So let's just wait a little while.
I'm going to say something to...
Who's there? Anybody
Hey,
there?
Roxanne. Is this the same Roxanne who had the ginger from the hot cross buns? Roxanne, is that you?
Is that Roxanne? Roxanne in the building? Nice. All right.
Yeah. Hey, Leo lady, what's up?
Right.
So we got people coming in.
Very good. Yeah. So we'll start. So again, a different format to this session. I'm gonna do a little something. I ain't too sure. I have a little cabbage, a little cauliflower, a little carrots. I'm gonna do something vegetarian. Afiya is not a vegetarian, but she eats mostly vegetarian.
I'm a pescatarian, yes.
Pescatarian.
So I eat lots of fish, lots of veggies.
Right. And that kind of in sync with I just eat meat. I just eat meat, but I don't eat meat often. So this is fine for me doing this veggie stuff. I didn't know what to do. I just had some odds and ends in the fridge, and well, I don't know how it is. This whole quarantine cooking session, quarantine cooking initiative is about using what we have and making meals. So I'm gonna make a little something. I didn't want it to just be Afiya just talking to the camera.
Yeah, seriously, no.
Yeah.
Please.
And I don't think I could carry on an interview and not do anything now. So I given myself something to do. Why? It's not really an interview. We're just talking.
Yeah, having a nice little...
having a chat. We're having a chat.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do the same pilaf that I did the other day. I'm gonna do that.
All right.
And then I'll do some stir-fry veggies.
Yeah, well, let's go.
Yeah. But you know what? To kick things off, to get the conversation rolling, the first thing I wanted to ask you is...
Go ahead.
Yeah. Why is culinary or food tourism important?
For me, well, my opinion, I think food tourism is so important for any country to really market themselves in a way that includes everybody, and it tells the story of everybody in that country, of all the cultures, the ethnicities. It tells a story that really makes the country be able to showcase who they truly are. And I feel like food tourism is an easy way to get people excited about visiting a specific country, because we all love food. As tourists, as locals, we all connect on food, with food. So I think food tells such a great story about who we are to others, and it also kind of reminds us who we are to each other.
Yeah.
So I feel like food tourism is such a important, I think it's overlooked by a lot of countries. There are some gastro nations who've gotten it right, like Thailand, Japan, Peru is leading in food tourism right now.
Right.
Singapore, there are lots of Italy, there are lots of gastro nations who they have actually made food tourism part of their tourism marketing strategy.
Right.
I feel like the Caribbean is slowly realizing how important it is, and that makes me really happy.
Right.
Food tourism is not just about street food. It's not just about fancy restaurants, gourmet meals. It's really encompasses everything. It's about the farmers, the farm to table. It's about food and beverage, not just food.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
so there's so much you can tell, you know, a tourist about your country with just one meal. When my job requires that I actually engage with lots of different international clients, lecturers, students.
Right.
And one of the things that I did, we used to take them, before I started, I used to hear that, you know, if we had any kind of business meetings, we should go and have Trini Chinese, which is fine because Trinidadian Chinese food is very different from what you'd get in New York or in Chicago, wherever.
Right.
But I also felt like it was a great representation of who we are, but I feel like to really understand another part of Trinidad, or it was nice to be able to get them to really use all their senses. So I figured, okay, let's try and go to a roti shop.
Right.
So now whenever we have business meetings, I try to either order roti and have it delivered. We just kind of, you know, have it out there, display it out there, and people can just take whatever they want, and I show them how to actually eat the roti with their hands, or we actually go to a real roti shop. Right. Because that experience really gets people excited about using their hands when they're not accustomed to doing that. The flavors are different. It's not something that you are accustomed, you know, seeing and eating any and every way. Right. So that's I love food tourism. I think it's something that Trinidad, if we really take it seriously, I mean, we could really be out there with the big boys on the gastronation scene, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Well, and that, so here's the question, right? It is no secret that the countries that you call, Italy, France, Thailand, Peru, those places, have had food as a big part of the culture. You think of Italians, you think of Italy, you're thinking, you know, pastas and that kind of thing. You would think about Thailand, you think Thai food. Yeah. It's so ingrained in them. And it's not something new. They've been known for that, right? That's part of their, of who they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Their identity, right? Here's the funny thing. Food is a huge part of our identity.
That's right.
It has always been.
Always been.
Caribbean and Trinidad and Tobago, we are very proud of, and we identify our uniqueness through food. Mm-hmm. Why haven't we used this as part of our marketing plan?
I just think that we have just taken it for granted for so long. We've looked at everything else that we had to offer. Sand, sea, and sun, which is great. Oil, okay. We've looked at just the natural resources and music, which is all well and good. But, you know, at the end of the day, like what blows my mind about tourism in the region is that we have to remember that we all have to eat. Tourists have to eat. Right. They want to eat. Yeah. And I feel like because of social media, you're seeing a lot more people showing what's on their plate. Right. And that is encouraging people to go and eat, right? Yeah. So why is it that we're not seeing more food tours, seeing more classes, cooking classes happening? I mean, Jamaica's doing an awesome job. Barbados is doing a great job as well. Barbados realized that they are fantastic when it comes to gourmet fine dining.
Definitely.
That's what they do really well. The fine
dining scene is up there.
It's up there. Yeah. And they understood this, and they said, okay, we have to definitely make food tourism, in particular gourmet fine dining, you know, part of our marketing strategy. Yeah. So that's what they did. That's why we have the Barbados Food and Rum Festival. They also have, they also have great rum. So I think that a lot of countries may have realized, okay, well, we already have sea, sand, and sun going for us. Right. You know, people come in here, we can feed them. But no, why don't we just kind of maybe switch it up a bit? Because we're realizing that people are actually curating their tourism, their tourist experiences, their travel experiences, and putting food at the top of the list. Yeah. You know, it's now a thing. Yeah.
And strangely enough, I mean, I am nowhere as near well-traveled as anybody. I am the opposite of well-traveled, right?
Not in the kitchen. You're well traveled in the kitchen. You tell plenty stories about food in the kitchen, you know.
Yeah, but I want to actually travel. So I want to actually go places. I mean, I got a nice little taste last year, and I'm real grateful for that. But it's something I knew about myself way before I even had the idea of traveling. Because I mean, at the end of the day, traveling is a privilege. Right?
It is.
Not everybody could travel. But I don't think everybody wants that whole resort cruise ship to be tended to experience. And that's me.
Yeah.
As a person who, if I go in somewhere, I want to really experience the place. I don't want to sit down in a resort and have drinks coming to me on a tray and that kind of thing. To me, that wouldn't be memorable for me.
Yeah.
What would be memorable is meeting the actual people from the place and making friends, if you will, or just having conversations and getting to see how people just live now. You understand? What do you think we need to do to get to that stage? Because I mean, again, that is how we does lime. Who does lime without food?
Exactly.
And as long as lime, you just entertain people through food. You know, you bust a pot, your thing, you have some drinks, whatever, and be liming.
Our lives revolve around food.
Yeah. But it seems that, you know, we haven't found a way to take that and make it part of the strategy. But what's going on now with COVID is that travel, tourism is taking and will continue to take a massive hit.
Yep.
To the point where I believe it will probably come to a grinding halt. The industry itself globally will come to a grinding halt. What do you see, and I know this is a hard question I'm asking it anyway, what do you think would be the answer to that? Or an answer to it? Not to be the answer, but in your head, what do you think we could do to address that?
To address what exactly?
To address the fact that tourism on the whole going to come to a grinding halt.
I think, all right, I don't know if I'm going to answer it correctly, but I
feel like, let's give me your answer.
For me, I feel like right now, well, once we are able to go back outside, domestic tourism is going to be big. And I think and I hope it's going to be as big as I envision it. I think that people are going to start really looking at what is going on in their backyard. You know, in season for a while, we have been trying to encourage people to go on tours with us to different parts of Trinidad and Tobago to kind of show them and remind them of the unique heritage, unique cultures that we have within our own country through food. And my intention for InSeason was not to necessarily go full into international or foreign tourists. I wanted to actually focus on the domestic tourism because I need to get my people behind me first. If you get your people behind you in tourism and what they have to offer here, then you get that support. They will encourage people to come to be a part of your tours when they come and they visit Trinidad, or you know, you be on the tip of their tongues. So I think now you're going to see a change. You're going to see domestic tourism hopefully booming. People are going to start going back to the bird sanctuary with their kids and going to the different cocoa estates, and I hope this also encourages people in tourism sector to actually look at how they can market not just tourism, you know, but just the different types. So food tourism, I want it to be something a little bit more prevalent. I want people to actually look at hosting classes, you know, inviting people into their spaces. If you need help with that, I can always help you. But inviting people into their spaces to see what they're doing, what they're growing. You know, we've worked with cocoa estates before, we worked with mango estates. There's so many different things you can do in Trinidad and Tobago, that people don't realize, they don't know, they're not aware.
You think people are going to look for alternatives to partying and petting?
We are a party nation. It's possible. I mean, how much partying can you really do? I know Trinidad do real plenty. We love to party.
How much party can you really do? Trinidad to go hold my beer.
But I feel like even parents are going to look for something different to do with their families, with their kids. You know, a date might be a food tour, might be a great date. A cooking class might be a great date. So you might see a revival of cooking classes, of different things happening within food, but also just even bird watching and ecotourism and that kind of thing. So hopefully things pick up when we can go outside, and that way we can also work on things like our customer service and how we deal with people and how you know, put together a proper package when it comes to tourism, so that when the doors do open and people do start coming in, we have something that's really going to grab people.
Right.
Can I go to the chat for a second?
Go to the chat.
Let me see who's here.
See what the chat's saying.
Hey Chantal, hey, thank you darling. Yes, I actually put on makeup today for you all. The secret is I put makeup
Listen,
for like
it's real unfair, right? Because honestly how I just be looking real haggard and thing on the camera. Afiya come real makeup down and thing. So now people gonna see that we don't put no effort into his general appearance. I mean, I don't look like I roll out of bed, hopefully. Hopefully I don't look like I roll out of bed. But Afiya come with all kind of makeup.
I mean, I have on my pajama bottoms there. Make it COVID, make it fashion. Yeah. But I am excited to see what's going to happen. I feel like there's going to be a lot of changes now after this. Post-COVID, life is going to be very different. I'm even really curious to see what's going to happen in terms of travel. Travel requirements, restrictions, that kind of thing, because that's going to change. I mean, we saw a shift when 9/11 happened, after 9/11. There's definitely going to be a shift now in terms of what you can carry, what you can't carry, what you are required to do before you get on the plane. So that's also going to be like, whew.
Yeah, that's going to be a scene. You think people will travel leisurely for leisure as much?
I think the thing is, travel will always be there, and I think people will always travel. People will always want to travel. They're just probably waiting to see what's going to happen, how things are going to change. Oh, somebody's asking if what are you making? Can you just let people know who've now come in on the chat, on the feed, the stream? What are you cooking?
I am making the same rice pilaf, but I'm doing like pimentos and thing in it, and I'm doing some stir-fry veggies. Now, just to be clear, yes, this is a quarantine cooking session, but this episode in particular is not necessarily about what I'm making. This episode is all about Afiya and talking about culinary tourism and that kind of thing. So do not expect a step-by-step, right now we're going to fry this, and right now we're going to fry that. All you going to see things happening, and feel free to ask.
I'm looking.
But we're not going to focus on me. The focus here, Afiya just started the show today. So direct all the questions to Afiya. But I'm making a rice pilaf, and then I'm going to do some stir-fry veggies. This is a quick thing. It's what I had in the fridge and things. So, Afiya.
Yes.
So I started off telling people that you are very well traveled.
Yes.
Tell us about your travel history.
Okay, so
oh gosh, let me cut you a bit. So this is some palm oil that Afiya brought back from Brazil.
Yes, they call it dende.
Right. So, I mean, even things like this, it's not just going and eating food there, but it's also experiencing the products and things that people use, ingredients that people use in their cooking. Where did you find this palm oil?
So that palm oil I found in let's say it's a rural community in Brazil, and they actually make palm oil. They make palm oil and they harvest oysters. So they sell palm oil and oysters to other communities. It's called quilombo. It's a lot of it's made up of generations of persons whose ancestors were once slaves, enslaved in Brazil. And once they were freed, once slavery was abolished in a sense, they were able to kind of leave and find land, and they stayed on the land and they created these communities. So they have a lot of these quilombos which are still, they have these huge communities, and they live without internet and cable and have the best life ever.
About that life.
No, there's no Netflix, there's no nothing, and it is amazing. I mean, you go and the food is incredible when you, because it's fresh food.
Right.
Everything's fresh, and they are wonderful, wonderful people. So I bought palm oil, and I also bought some cough medicine. But yes, you always laugh at me whenever I have sauces, because I always have the most extreme sauces.
Yeah, is it sauce
and it's because it's important to bring back something to try. If you taste something and you like it, you're not gonna like say, okay, let me bring back something to see if I could recreate it.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's what I did. So yes, let me just give you a quick rundown as to my travels, really, really quick. Yeah. So I did not grow up in Trinidad. Trinidad and Tobago. I left when I was 2, and I moved to Europe, then I moved to the States, then I moved back to Trinidad and Tobago, moved to South Africa for a bit, moved back home, went to school in Jamaica, moved back home, and then I went to Japan to teach English. And I came back. So I've been back since, it's been about 6, 7 years.
So what again?
So we did, okay, so I've lived in, this is places I've lived. I've lived in Trinidad, lived in Brussels, Belgium, Washington, D.C., South Africa, Jamaica, and Japan. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
So.
And that's just places you've lived?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and I've traveled in between.
Right.
So I like to travel, and also, as you said, it's part of my job. I actually put together tours for people to visit different countries, and I also host students who come to Trinidad and Tobago to learn about our culture. And then I have the food tourism business, and I also tutor. So yeah, I do quite a bit.
Right.
Yes.
So.
Hey, Laura from Pennsylvania. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, Jala.
Hey, Jala on the inside.
Yes, and Ariane George. How you doing? Yes. So yeah, so that's why I fell in love with food, because of traveling so much and being exposed at a young age, from a young age, you know, to different cultures and different foods. Right. You know, it just becomes a part of you. It really does. And food was a big way of me connecting to home, because as I said, I didn't grow up here, but my parents are Trini, so they were able to help me connect to Trinidad and Tobago through food. So my mother would cook a lot, and we'd cook for other people in the community and what have you. Right. Because we were diplomats, we used to cook for them and have parties and music and that kind of thing. So it was always a way to connect to others. Yeah. Yeah. Nice. And to connect to, you know, my own culture. Yeah. Yeah.
Not growing up here and then coming here to live, right?
Crazy culture shock.
Right.
Extreme culture shock. Reverse culture shock. Every single time. Yeah? Yeah.
Do you think your experiences outside of not being from here has had any influence on your palate and your preferences, your food preferences?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
So I am that Trinidadian who I really like, you're not Trini, because I don't like shadow benny. I don't eat zabuka. I will eat it if it's in guacamole. Shadow benny for me is just too strong. I'm with my Venezuelan family, my people. They're my people because Venezuelans, they use cilantro when they cook. Shadow benny is too strong of a flavor. And for me, I'm one of the people who has that gene, that shadow benny, that cilantro tastes like soap. It is it's a real thing. Yeah? There's an actual group on Facebook called Cilantro Tastes Like Soap. So yeah, I am part of that. I'm part of that community. But yeah, it really did change. Yeah, I think my palate is, it's not that it's different, but because the thing is, I grew up with Trini food as well, but we had to make do whatever we had. Exactly. So for me, it wasn't like we didn't have dashing bush all the time. We had spinach. We had frozen spinach. Right. You know, there were times when my mother was able to go to the African markets, or we'd find it a West Indian store in the area, like DC has a lot of West Indian stores. So I grew up with roti and stuff and knowing curry and the flavors, that kind of thing. Right. So I wasn't completely removed from, you know, what Trinidad cooking is. But at the same time, coming back home, there are other things that you taste. Like, for example, just yesterday, my mom, my sister, and I had a conversation about ketchup. My sister, she loves ketchup. Right. And that was never a thing. We used to eat Heinz ketchup growing up because that's what we knew. We didn't have Trinidadian ketchup available to us. Right. So when we moved back home, we brought home a whole bunch of food that we were accustomed to. And then your palate changes bit by bit. So now all of a sudden, what is Heinz? It's all about Matooks. Exactly. It's Mabel's or Matooks, you know? So yeah, it really did change. And you know, your palate changes as you get older, right? Like
yeah, definitely.
Different the chemicals, they change, different flavors taste, you know, a little weird or different. Or like eggplant was something I hated growing up, but now I love eggplant.
Right.
You know, things change as you get older. Your palate changes. But yeah.
Good. Let's get into. Yeah, I think we should be back there. But I think we're back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, you see, my sister just mentioned that ketchup was supposed to be in everything. No. Yeah, so shout out to my family, the Francis family. Hi.
Hey, sisters on the chat?
Sisters on the chat, parents are watching, so you know how to behave myself now.
You're on your best behavior. You're on your best behavior.
This is not salty lies. But yeah, you know, I was asking people if they actually, if they used to plan what they're going to eat before they actually travel. And a lot of people said yes. So out of all the people that I asked, let's see. I thought it was actually very fascinating because that's something that I do. Right. I'm a natural planner though, so I plan everything down to T. Right. So 80% said that they actually plan and they look and research what they're going to do, well, in terms of food, where they're going to eat. Yeah. And 20% said no. I am not that adventurous. Yes. Food, people, food. I am not that adventurous. Certain things I will be adventurous with, but food, I'm always like, I have limited time. I need to know where I'm going to go and eat and what I'm going to eat. I am that person who checks online what the menu is like at a restaurant. Right. But if it's street food and stuff, yeah, we're going to go and see what we're going to eat. I mean, I've had food that I don't know exactly what it was. It could have been dog, it could have been rat, I don't know. Right. But it went down good. Yeah. Right. So, most importantly,
you get sick?
Certain things I'm down with, but it's just because you have limited time.
Well, true. Especially with what you do, you have to
plan.
Be on schedule.
And what I do, you know, for me, as I said, food is such an important aspect of any country, any culture, any history. So I put food at the top of the list when it comes to these packages, these tours. The last tour that I did was to Brazil, and we took the participants on a food tour of Rio, Rio food tours, and it was fantastic because it was the first food tour that a lot of people actually went on. And it was a very simple food tour, which just involved visiting the markets. Right. And that alone is enough for some people.
Yeah, listen, I could see how something like that could be real amazing. Like, if you had a food tour here where people went to, let me say, La Vega, let me tell you something. I live in Trinidad, I went to La Vega and my mind was blown.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy. Actually, one of the shoots that we did, my cousin Umar, he was born in Canada, but he spent a couple of years in Trinidad, living in Trinidad, but then he went back to Canada. He was visiting, and we went to do the shoot on La Vega, and even Umar was like, mind blown. And I don't think he, I don't think that is his kind of thing, like that outdoorsy thing. I don't know, I could be talking out of turn, but when he come here, he come in for fit. He coming for, you know, the party and that kind of thing. But yeah, even he was like, Dre, this real amazing. And I think a lot of people might not be giving themselves the opportunity to experience it. Because they're just thinking, all right, party, fit, whatever thing, or beach, that kind of thing, drinking. Yes, we could do that, but I think doing that type of thing, especially exploring things like fruits. Yeah. That it might be, it wouldn't be solely available here, but we might have a variation here, that kind of thing that's only available. I don't know, what are we doing?
And the thing is, it's a way, the thing is we have to market it properly. Right. Because it's also a way of you know, encouraging people to support the local economy.
Exactly,
and that's very important right now. You know, there is a concern right now with food security. Right. Our import bill is extremely high. It is insanely high. Yeah. I hope that there will be a shift. We'll see.
Yeah.
But we don't want to go too far into that. We want to keep it light.
We hear. No, I would love to see a shift, and I think definitely as a region, that is what we should be looking at. Food security for the region, and how we as a Caribbean community could play a role in feeding each other.
That's right.
And I mean, we're already on that path in terms of, we have the provisions coming in from, where is it? Is Guyana? Where's the provisions from? If David was here, David got them.
Yeah.
We have a boat that is coming, where we just get provisions from, and then I think even this guy who does grow Christophine on the way up to Brasso.
Yes.
I spoke to him and he was like, most of the Christophine he growing, leaving the country, they just stay here. You understand?
So if we can kind of become like a farm in the region, that'd be excellent. But yeah, hopefully there'll be a shift. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what changes. But we also have to kind of take responsibility and also support. I mean, there are so many amazing markets out there right now. Namdevco is one that has an amazing array of fruits and vegetables, things that some people have never seen.
Yeah.
So yeah, you also have to make the effort as citizens to support your own, right?
Of course.
I mean, we can't grow blueberries in Trinidad. We understand this.
Yeah.
But we grow arugula, we grow lettuce, we grow all sorts of different things that you can find here seasonally. So let's just help each other to hopefully get to that point. But I want to kind of go back into and then we'll come back again into travel and food.
Right.
And people being afraid to try new things.
Right.
I think when you're traveling, I feel like you should take advantage of the fact that you're in a different country and that you're going to try all sorts of new things.
Yeah.
You're going to, try different modes of public transportation. You're going to try, you're going to be learning a language possibly. You're going to try different drinks, way of living, even if it's for a short amount of time. I feel like food is something that we need to kind of open up ourselves to try a little bit more of.
Of course, yeah.
And sometimes, as you said, you asked me a little bit earlier if I got sick when I had whatever I had. Okay, so what I was talking about was in China we had, in China.
In China you had?
I actually don't know what I had in China, so I went to China and there was this meat pie. I remember I don't eat meat, right?
Right.
When I travel, sometimes I do make exceptions. I will not eat chicken. I just don't like chicken. I haven't had chicken in 15 years. But but I will explore. I mean, I've had worms and bugs. I've had crocodile, antelope, warthog. Yes, I ate pumba. I have had many different things.
Right.
But in China, because I didn't know what the sign said, it was smelling real good.
Right.
And I tried it.
Right.
We don't know if it was what kind of meat pie, but it was delicious. Same thing, same place in China. I had passed by, went to Starbucks in the morning. I went and I did the morning coffee run. And on the way, I just saw a whole bunch of people congregating around this stand. Well, it was actually a hole in the wall. And I'm like, what is this about? And I went up and I realized it was egg tarts, which are actually Portuguese.
Okay.
But they are also made in China. They're popular in China. And it's just the egg, and they have a crust, and then they kind of broil the top. So it's a little, because it's egg and sugar and that kind of thing. So
okay. That's something very good.
yeah, so the people in front of me had bought like a dozen.
Right.
And I was kind of like, well, I guess I'll buy a dozen. I have coffee to go with the girls, so I'll just buy a dozen of these and take it home. And I had one on the way, and then I had two on the way, and then I had four on the way.
Yeah.
And I only went home with 6. But the point is, like, trying different foods, you know, you really, that makes a trip, you know.
Yeah. That could make or break.
It could make or break a trip. I've had a friend who was also, shout out to Kimberly, who also was like, Delhi belly is a myth. We went to India. And she said, Delhi belly is a myth. And I said, okay, sis.
And what was it?
Well, I mean, I feel like Trinidadians have iron bellies, but we still don't have that iron belly to defeat the Delhi belly, right?
I do not have iron belly.
Right. Not all of us have iron bellies, but she decided she wanted to buy a samosa off the side of the road because she figured the oil would, you know, cut out the bacteria and the heat and the thing, and but like I think it was the second to last day, problems, but not terrible.
Yeah, but she had some problems.
But she was a trooper because it was an experiment that she chose to do on her own.
Right.
Because I was not having any of that. Some people commented online. I asked some people, what is the best thing you've had on a trip?
Right.
And that was a really hard question because even I can't even answer that. Like I was up last night trying to think about what's the best thing I've ever had on a trip, and that was tough. So somebody said they went taco hopping in San Diego, which is actually kind of cool. Lemon chicken from Amalfi Coast. Papa, we are fancy. Amalfi Coast? Hello? Okay.
Out there.
We out there. I look at this. I love this. Japanese style crispy tofu in Jamaica.
What?
Yeah.
You saying?
Yeah. Right? Crab in Sri Lanka. Fried ice cream. Yes. Doner kebabs from Berlin. Yes. Food from the Singapore hackers. Singapore has some fantastic food. Singapore, Malaysia. Malaysia has such good food and it's so cheap. I mean, I've had food that cost me all of $3 and a big plate. Let me tell you, big soup.
Yeah.
And the servings just like ridiculous, like Texas servings. But it was so good. Fresh lobster and chips in the Isle of Skye, Scotland. Papa, excuse me, Paul, excuse me. Ceviche, yes, ceviche in Mexican Tulum is actually really good. Ceviche in Peru is very good as well. Coconut crusted shrimp, oxtail encrusted fried plantain wrap. Hello.
Pops.
Barbie fried chicken, which was a big thing back in Mona. I went to school in Jamaica, so I'm a Moonite for life. So Barbie fried chicken was a big thing for people. I didn't even see it. Well, I never had chicken from there. Stopped eating chicken before that.
Right.
Steak in Australia, ceviche in Peru, tacos in Tulum. We can definitely identify with that. I went on a trip with two of my girlfriends to Tulum, and we had tacos on the beach, and that was fantastic. And it's fresh tacos. And you know, a next thing that I really liked is the fact that when we went to Tulum, we had an idea of what we wanted to do. I mean, when I travel in particular, because of what I do at work, I have everything in order. I had a budget set, so we met up. Three of us met up. We went over the budget. We included everything: activities, food. Somebody was in charge of finding all the restaurants that we should go to.
Right.
Another person was in charge of activities.
Right.
Who was in charge of looking for flights and accommodation. So we all had a role to play.
Right.
But when we got there and we went to our first restaurant and we sat down with the owner and we asked her, well, you know, where's the best place to eat this, try this? And she gave us a full list. And that's how you also can do travel and eating. You know, asking people, and not just asking the bellboy or your Airbnb host, but just asking people who are in food. Because they are the ones who may understand flavor profiles a bit different from other people. They have colleagues who are in the industry, so they can guide you. There is just so much you can learn from them alone. You know? So let me see what the chat is saying. Yes. All right. Yes. Our import bill, it's been crazy. KB's Pizza, hello. Yes, awesome. We should make our own chocolate and export it as well. Yes, we need to get back into that. We have seen an increase in cocoa and chocolate products, locally produced chocolate products in recent years, and it would be really awesome. I mean, I think we're out there in Harrods and that kind of thing. We have the Trinidad and Tobago Chocolate Company. They have their product in Harrods, I believe. So there's a lot happening. It's happening bit by bit, but I think that there needs to be some sort of unity within the different sectors in
Right.
food.
Yeah.
That is what we're
Yeah,
missing to get to the next level.
Bring it together. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, kudu in South Africa, yes. Ah, I know who that is. Yes. So that is actually one of the best places in terms of food for me. My food destination, one of my best favorites is South Africa because it's just like Trinidad, a melting pot of cultures.
Right.
So you can get almost any and everything.
Okay.
So it really is a unique place to go and eat. But Awi, I know that you went to New York was last year, right?
Right.
And you went to Ireland.
Yeah.
What about your food experiences in New York?
In New York, well, a little bit. All right, cool. You want to put me on the spot? Fine. The first time I went, because I went twice last year. The first time I went, I was by myself. And well, I'll tell you this, I don't know how other people feel about this, but I think doing that by myself was the best thing I could have done.
Yeah.
At the time, well, right before, when I was, I had to go and do it and that kind of thing, I was kind of like, let me see if I could link up with this person or that person or that kind of thing. And then in the moment, I decided not to. I was like, nah, let me just, let me just do it by myself. Yeah. And I'm really glad I do that because I realized that a lot of the things that I chose to do, a lot of people might not have enjoyed that. I rail walk.
Yeah.
I rail walk.
New York does that.
I wanted to see the place. So I rail walk. Listen, I reached to the point where I think I was disgusted in terms of like, I was sweating profusely. I was wet with sweat. I was real sweating, but I didn't care because I just wanted to see the place and try things.
Yep.
But you see, the problem with me is I can't eat plenty.
I know, kiss kitty belly.
Kiss kitty belly, yeah. So I real pop down in terms of being able to try a lot of things. But when I went with David, the second time, well, we linked up. He went to thing and we linked up. One of the best things I had was tea in Chinatown.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we eat all kind of thing. I do all kind of thing. One day, I end up in a food fair, Korean food fair kind of thing. Then we went Italy. We do all kind of thing. We try all kind of food. We try food in Harlem.
Yeah.
The best thing that I had across there was that tea.
What was so good about this tea? Because I love tea. Tea is amazing. But what was so good about this tea that it actually stuck out?
It was a combination of the tea itself, which was cocoa nibs and some other spices. It was a real nice blend of tea, but it was also the settings.
Yeah.
It was a little hole in the wall kind of place. It just had like a few people there. I'm gonna say like probably like 4 or 5 people inside there, including me and David. And it was the time of day too. It was after a long day. We went Chinatown, then we went Little Italy. It had the San Gennaro festival going on. So we do all that. We eat all kind of thing. But I think it was just the experience having that. And we know that, we spoke about this at length already. Food is not just about what's in front of you. It's not just about what on the plate, but it's also the ambience.
It's the whole experience.
Yeah, it's the people around. It's all that does make the experience real best. So people might hear it and think it's lame, you understand? They might say, well, it's all kind of thing to eat a burger and pizza and this and that and thing. That tea was the best thing I had.
Did you bring back any of the tea?
No.
You left today?
Yeah, I left it there. It was.
And you know what? That's okay.
And you know what? I didn't even find out if they were selling it. I didn't even do that. It was just, we buy the tea and it come in this nice little pot, glass pot, and then these little glass cups. And you just pour out a little bit.
And it's just enough. And that's the thing. I think people, like, one of the places I actually did not enjoy food-wise that I visited was, and I mean, I think for me, the kind of person I am, South Beach, Miami. Oh my God, it was terrible.
Terrible?
Oh, because everything was it's just mass produced, just too much of everything. It's extremely commercial.
Right.
You know, it's just big plates of food, very expensive. And it took for us to actually leave South Beach and go, you know, another part of Miami,
right,
and actually experience good food, like nice quality. I mean, it was a little bit more high end, but it was still really good food.
Right.
I remember things like in Thailand walking to get a taxi and, you know, buying meat on a stick.
Right.
And
right.
you get the meat on a stick, and you get a bag with chili and like oil or something, and that's it.
Right. Okay.
And that was enough. And that was fantastic.
Yeah,
simple.
Sometimes it's simple things.
And it's a simple things, and also, as you said, like the people behind it. You know, this woman is trying to just make ends meet. This is what she does every day. She sells meat on a stick every day.
Yeah.
She doesn't have a brick and mortar. She just has this cart.
Right.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And that's what she's selling, and it's good food.
Yeah.
You know, you just have to be very aware of what you're eating. Yes.
Yes.
Be careful. You know,
Yeah,
don't want to get sick, but you also don't want to limit yourself.
Yeah.
I actually had a friend who was talking about the fact that she regrets going to Thailand and going the safer, more touristy route, because she missed out on a lot of food experiences that she is now seeing they've become like, you know, go-tos, must-dos in Thailand, and she missed out on all of that. So I think that, I feel like people need to, it would be nice. I suggest that people curate their travel experiences to really include food a little bit more, because you really get to learn about the country. I mean, something as simple as visiting a grocery. I talk about this all the time, every time I travel. And I say, yo, I went to this grocery store and I bought this. Yeah, I mean, I bought miso paste in a grocery in Brazil. Because Brazil has 500,000 Japanese people.
Okay, I didn't even
living in. It's the highest population of Japanese people living outside of Japan.
Wow.
So they have like a area, like a little well, it's more like Asia town in a sense, because it's Chinese, Japanese, Vietnamese. So funny story, haha. We were in Rio. No, it wasn't Rio. It was in Sao Paulo.
Right.
And I said, okay. I did my research. I said, there's this place that sells Japanese food products. I need to get some matcha teas and whatever. So I'm going to get in a taxi. I'm going to get in an Uber, and I'm going to go to this place. I told the Uber, this is where I need to go. I don't know any Portuguese. None. I don't have a SIM card. I just have Wi-Fi. So I'm like, listen, this is where we're going. Can you take me there? He can't speak English. I can't speak Portuguese. But I'd say I'll go in. All right, cool. Listen, got in the taxi. Now, you know, Brazil it has its crime.
Right.
So I got in the taxi and we're driving, and I'm like, this place is looking sketchy, but okay, it might be, you gotta get through here to get to where I need to go.
Right.
And then he got to the destination, he stopped, he turned around, and was like, this is where you told me to go. And I was like, no, there was no store, no Japanese store. The last thing I saw was a bunch of people getting held up by the popo.
What?
So I was like, this is not where I need to be. So I missed out on buying the things I wanted to buy, the Japanese food.
Right.
But I was able to buy it in Rio. I bought some matcha, and I bought some miso paste, which I use a lot of at home now, in everything. I use it in egg salad, I use it in soups, everything. So yeah, travel and food, serious experience. And what about Ireland? It was Ireland, yeah?
Yeah.
How was that?
Ireland was a very hectic schedule, because I went specifically for the Meatopia event. But you know what? I didn't get to eat. The only thing I ate outside of that was a burger, and I got lost. And my best idea was to go and buy a burger and then kind of engage the burger man to find out where I was, because I didn't want to seem like I was lost.
You were lost, yeah.
So So that was the thing. But in the Meatopia event, I mean, it's food it's real food. But
Yeah.
it's like grilled food and that kind of thing. Would you believe all that grilled meat and barbecue and all kind of things going on? The best thing I ate there was curry.
Wow. What kind of curry was it?
Listen, Dread, this man make a roast duck. Well, he roast the duck separate. So he roast the duck and thing, right? He roast the duck and make a curry sauce. Afiya. So the guy has a amount of chits, right? The guy like 6 chits. So he has 6 chits, you can go to 6 different places.
Right.
4 of my chits went to the curry.
Oh my gosh. But I can't be vexed because, yeah, as I told you, I saw people saying they had Japanese food in Jamaica. So I guess, yeah, it doesn't really matter where you go. If it tastes good, it tastes good, right?
It tastes real good, Dread. And I was like, look at that. I went to Ireland to eat some real banging curry.
Yeah. Oh. Somebody asked a really good question.
Okay, let's hear it.
Have you experienced countries where the food spots are mostly run by foreigners, different accents? Yes. So in Thailand, there are a lot of Italians who have a lot of pizza and pasta places.
Right.
Thailand, Tulum had a couple, but Thailand in particular had a lot of Italians. I feel it's like Italians who maybe wanted to retire in Thailand or wanted to move to Thailand for a different kind of lifestyle.
Right.
But I mean, they were making fresh pasta and pizza, you know, in Thailand. So if there's one thing you know you can get in Thailand, specifically in Phuket, pizza and pasta.
Wow.
And this happens a lot. A lot of Southeast Asian countries, you see that.
Right.
People who want to retire somewhere different, have a, live a different way of life, they go and they set up shop. And then you see, maybe they might encourage other people to come. And so it happens a lot. Yeah.
Nice.
Somebody's going to mail me some furikake. And I know who it is. Hi, Mel. Thank you. Yeah. But food is pretty incredible. Food and travel. The only thing about traveling and buying food is things like honey and stuff you can't buy, you can't bring back.
Yeah.
There are laws restricting you from bringing back honey.
Which I don't understand.
Yeah, but it is what it is. I went to Fiji last year and I tried to bring back some vanilla.
Right.
A vanilla cutting so I could actually grow some vanilla. And the guy who was growing it was like, no, TSA and blah, blah. I did all my research and then it was fine. They said, it's fine, you can take it back. And I think he just didn't want to sell me the vanilla because vanilla is gold.
Yeah.
He didn't want to give it to me. But guess what? I got my own vanilla now.
Yeah, you got it right here.
I got vanilla here and I'm going to try and grow it myself. Well, we're going to monitor it because vanilla is one of those things that you have to help along manual to actually get the vanilla bean.
Okay.
It's not something that just grows. You don't see vanilla bean just sprout like that. You actually have to help the process along. So yeah, I will definitely be getting my fingers crossed vanilla beans soon.
Nice.
Ooh, do you want to show the people what you have made?
Okay. So, yeah, just make some, I'm going to turn it this way, look a little better. There's some stir-fried veg and some rice. Nice about it. A quick thing. Well, it wasn't that quick, but quick. I could have made it faster if we wasn't talking. Yeah.
What are the places that you want to visit?
So people say they want to go away, they want to go Paris or whatever. I don't know why. I think it's probably some movie I see when I was small or whatever. But I always wanted and still want to visit the countryside in Japan.
Oh yes, my hood.
Yeah. I'm gonna tell you something. Since I was small kid, I was like, that place just look like
my hood.
It just look like it's peaceful kid.
It is.
You could just this expanse of land and it's just beautiful. And
yeah. It's peaceful to the point where sometimes it's actually a little bit too peaceful. I used to sometimes, I used to sometimes run away to the city because I need to hear noise.
Yeah.
Because you don't hear, you hear cars passing, but there's no noise.
No bustle, no
and
bustle and
Trinidad is a noisy country, so having lived in Trinidad and moving to Japan, because when I moved to teach English as a second language, to be an assistant language teacher. And I told them, when I applied, I said I wanted to live in the city. City or suburbs. I had decided either city or suburbs, not rural. I did not put down rural. And somehow,
not rural.
I ended up in like the Maruga of Nagasaki, Japan. And it was a lot to deal with because I know for a fact I was one of the only, if not the only black person these people have ever met in their entire lives.
How was that experience?
It was, I think because I'm accustomed being a token black person in everything that I do, living abroad and going to schools in predominantly white neighborhoods and stuff, it didn't bother me. I was aware though. There were people are very, in small communities are very, very fast. They're very nosy. So within 2 2s, they knew where I lived. They knew what I ate. They knew that I was vegetarian or pescatarian. Because you know, Japan has an aging population, and in Nagasaki, well, I was in Minami Shimabara, Nagasaki, where I was. They there's a huge age gap, so it's either babies or like maybe possibly up to high school, and then old people. So they had a lot of older Japanese talenties and stuff who used to actually send me fruits and vegetables and stuff from the garden. I used to get a lot of free stuff. So it was I was kind of a rock star for 2 years.
Look at that.
Because people knew, you know, who I was. They knew I was a teacher. So they would just always help me out or give me something or invite me to their house. And that was a huge thing for me because you are allowing me, a stranger, to be in your home. I mean, I know there was, the intention may have been to find out more about me and this foreigner, and then you get like, you know, this foreigner badge to say I had a foreigner at my house. But at the same time, I think that they were just really intrigued.
You keep in touch with any of them?
I do. My teachers, one of them in particular, Fumi, and Sumomo, who sends me cards every Christmas. I had an actual mother and father, Japanese mom and dad, who adopted me. And this lady, I mean, this is a guy who sits next to me in the teacher's room. And I used to teach him English, like basic English words, and we used to write it down and chat. Imamura sensei, and his wife adopted me, and basically she used to make me a bento box every Monday morning. So every Monday I would get a bento box. Mondays I didn't have to cook. I just get a bento box. And it's the cutest, the most typical Japanese bento boxes. Like these little, you know, rice balls, you know, different things. They're very cute, very kawaii. So traveling, living in Japan, living in the countryside was an experience that I would never, ever forget. I think I was at my best in terms of health. I ate a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables. My water, my tap water was spring water, Badawi. Okay?
Whoa, okay. Nice.
My tap water, spring water. But
that is good living. I guess that's why, you know, they have their population in terms of like age and that kind of thing they live.
Yeah, because, well, certain places, I know where I was, and Japan in general, like green tea is such a big thing, and green tea is fantastic. I mean, I was drinking green tea every day, all day. They make green tea, they have a pot there, at least a pot that's just waiting to be poured. So during the summer, it's cold green tea. During the winter, it's hot green tea. It's just green tea. So how we have a water cooler, you go and you just drink green tea instead of having water. I mean, you have your water there, but you have green tea.
I could live that life.
Yeah, it was, and I came back with a whole bunch of green tea. Because you get so accustomed to drinking that every day. It's a thing now. And green teas have different flavors based on how the temperature of the water. So sometimes you can get it a little bit more bitter if it's burnt. Sometimes if you use a little bit cooler water, not just don't use boiling water when you're making green tea. It'll be a little bit sweeter. It depends, and there are different types of green teas too. So But Japan, you do well in Japan and in the countryside. I could see that.
I tell you, since I was small. And as I got older and I got into this, you know, food thing, Morocco. Yeah, I would definitely love to visit Morocco for food.
Absolutely.
Moroccan food look like it's real best. Like
My mother has been to Morocco and she loved it. She said the food was fantastic. And that's the thing, Moroccan food, it just looks hearty and homey and warm, and the flavors, the spices.
Spices, cooking in tagine.
Yes.
Yes. I can do that.
Yeah.
So, let's bring it back to
This is
here.
really good.
Thank you. What do you think, because we kind of touched on this earlier, but specifically coming out of this whole COVID situation and thing, where you think we should be focusing our attention in terms of developing domestic tourism? I mean, people going to do the beaches, and I think because how we on lockdown now, they're going to find people wanting to do a lot of hikes and that kind of thing. I feel so, like hiking groups and things.
Yeah, people want to get out.
Yeah, people want to get out, people want to interact with nature and that kind of thing. Where do you think we need to focus on?
We need to get people back to see kind of farm to table experiences in a specific setting, and to also see how hard our farmers work and to appreciate the work that they do. I think people don't understand that farming is a labor of love. You know, it is a lot of work, and when people see the process, like when people see the process in terms of cultivating cocoa, there is no machine to cultivate cocoa. It is by hand. It has to be by hand. Cocoa is so, you know, it's very fragile. You have to be very careful with it. So I think it would be nice to get people to go into the fields, but what is required is that these farmers need to also be willing to
let people in.
And
I think that's a huge concern with farmers, giving people access to the spaces. But you're right. Some of the most enjoyable content I do is like when I link up with Christy and we go on farms, or even like when we went tableland to do the pineapple. I love doing that kind of thing because it really you get to see a different side of Trinidad.
That's right.
And the thing is, this place is so small, but it literally has people living very different lives.
Very different lives.
Yeah, right here.
Right here. I mean, even for us when we went to the mango estate. And that to me was like, wow. For that yes, Jala. Oh my gosh. It was, and Lanella and her family, they were so accommodating and so inviting and so just very open and kind. But seeing this man has an estate of just mango trees, and then he grows everything else in between. And he eats from the land. And what I loved about that, which is what I've been trying to tell people, farmers, whoever, you don't need to have a fancy setup. All Mr. Nandu had was a place to sit. He would cook on the spot. He had the hammocks.
Hammocks.
And he sells his frozen mango. So he's selling his frozen mango there. So you're supporting him with his frozen mango business, which he built his own big, huge freezer. And you're supporting there. They have the little condiments. Selling, excuse me, and there's so much as being done. Like that experience alone was like, this is why I do what I do, because you are able to showcase people, their products, how hard they work. There's just so much that you can show, and I think they feel encouraged to continue. I think when they see people appreciating what they do and how hard they work, they feel encouraged to continue. You know, and also you are able to support them financially. Tours are also a way to generate revenue. So I keep telling people, just open up your space. I have no problem guiding people in that, and guiding them into making a space wherever they are to help people come see what they do, and change our mindset around food.
Cool. I think that's the way forward, and I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, yes, now is you know, it's rough. You know, we're going through some rough times. I mean,
Yeah.
we all are. It's a global thing. But change is inevitable. We have
That's
to change.
right.
We have to change. And I look forward to the changes.
Yes,
I look
agreed.
forward to them.
Agreed.
Yeah, so I think we need to get into this food and lock off. But y'all, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
This was a different format, but we needed to celebrate World Food Travel Day.
Yes.
So that's why I invited Afiya to come on this episode of Quarantine Cooking.
I must say thank you to World Food Travel Association. They started this World Food Travel Day last year.
Yeah.
They're an NGO that actually puts together a lot of programs, projects. They have a lot of information on food travel around the world. So, you know, cheers to them for doing this.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, so if you all want to get in touch with Afiya InSeason Tours, the links are in the description of the video. So please check that out. And yeah, let's see how we could rebuild stuff by, we could stay right here. We don't need to go out there and we could stay right here and build tourism right at home. Domestic tourism is a scene.
Give support local a new meaning.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. We can and we should change the meaning or evolve the meaning of support local across the board.
Yep.
Not just through food, but food tourism, which is a all-encompassing thing.
That's right.
The experience of food.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So again, thanks for joining. Anything going on in chat? Anybody?
Rohan, hi, yes. Haloma said it was informative. Quality enamel plates. Everybody's talking about your enamel plates. People are messaging me. Keep it local. You see, and all this is part of food tourism presentation.
It's part of the experience. If somebody get this like, hey, you know, I got thinking of enamel plate. Yeah. That's part of it. But thanks again, you all for joining. As I always say, we have more quarantine cooking sessions coming. Please check out InSeason Tours, check out Afiya on social media. Actually, it's a good time to plug it. She has been doing weekly blogs, weekly posts to her blog and writing a lot on food and experiences and tourism. So please check out InSeasonTours.com and check out the articles because it's worth checking out. And yeah, you'll be writing more stuff, yeah?
I will. I'm working from home, but this is also me working from home. So I'm doing like a bunch of different things.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right, so take care, social distance, quarantine, lockdown, and be safe.
And eat something nice today now.
Eat something nice
Make
today.
some nice for yourself.
Yeah. There's a rice pilaf and some veggies. Do something good. All right. Take care.
Bye.
Later.